Today we are learning factoring trinomials. We want to start with definitions. A prime number is a positive integer greater than 1 whose only positive integer factors are 1 and itself, such as 3 because 3 can only be divided into 1 times 3. A composite number is a positive integer greater than 1 that is not a prime number, such as 4. 4 can be divided into 1 times 4, and it can also be divided into 2 times 2. A factor is a number or quantity that when multiplied with another produces a given number or expression, such as 2 and 3 are factors of 6 because 2 times 3 equals 6. A coefficient is a numerical or constant quantity placed before and multiplying the variable in an algebraic expression, such as 4 and 4x or negative 7 and x minus 7. A variable is an element, feature, or factor that is liable to vary or change, such as x and 4x or x and x minus 7. A binomial is an algebraic expression of two terms. In x minus 2, our first term is x and our second term is negative 2. A trinomial is an algebraic expression of three terms. Our first term in x squared plus 7x plus 12 is x squared, while our second term is 7x and our third term is 12. When factoring out the greatest common factor, we want to look first at the variables and then at the numbers. So 5x plus 3xy, when we look at that, we know that there's an x in both terms. So we can factor out an x, which gives us x times 5 plus 3y. Looking at 5 plus 3y, we know that 5 and 3 are both prime, so they cannot be factored out. So our answer is x times 5 plus 3y. In example 2, we have 6y plus 18y squared. We see that there is a y in both terms that can be factored out. We then know that we have 6 plus 18y. 6 and 18 both can be factored out by 2, 3, and 6, but we want the greatest common factor, so we factor out 6. Factoring out 6y out of 6y plus 18y squared gives us 6y times 1 plus 3y, which is our answer. Using a table, when multiplying x plus 2 times x plus 7, we can use a table and fill in the columns and rows to answer it. In our first column, we want x plus 2, and in our first row, we want x plus 7. When we multiply across, we have x times x, which is equal to x squared. Then we have 2 times x, which is equal to 2x. Then we have x times 7, which is equal to 7x, and 7 times 2, which is equal to 14. We then want to add all of our parts together of x squared plus 2x plus 7x plus 14. Then we want to add like terms. 2x plus 7x are like terms, which give us 9x. So our final answer is x squared plus 9x plus 14. The claw method, which is foiling. We start by multiplying the first part of our first binomial to each part of our second binomial, which x times x equals x squared, while x times 7 equals 7x. Then we want to draw the bottom part of our claw by multiplying the second part of the first binomial to each part in the second binomial. 2 times x equals 2x, while 2 times 7 equals 14. Lastly, we would like to add all of our parts together to get our trinomial. So x squared plus 7x plus 2x plus 14 gives us x squared plus 9x plus 14. Factoring trinomials into two binomials is the opposite of foiling. So we would like to undo the equation and put it back to two binomials. We want to first look at our second sign. Our second sign determines if the two coefficients will have the same sign or different signs. If the second sign is positive, the signs of the binomials are the same. If the second sign is negative, then one of the binomials is addition and 1 is subtraction. Then we look at our first sign. If our second sign is positive and they are both the same, and our first sign is positive, then both coefficients in the binomials have positive signs. If the first sign is negative and the second sign is positive, then the binomials have negative signs. If the coefficients have different signs, then this sign, our first sign, determines if the largest coefficient is positive or negative. If our first sign is positive, then our coefficient largest is positive. If our first sign is negative, then our largest coefficient is negative. Then we want to look at the numbers. To find the two binomials' coefficients, we want to find two numbers that multiply together to make the second term and add together to make the end term. So, 3 can be made by adding 1 plus 2. 1 times 2 can make 2. So, x squared plus 3x plus 2 can be made into x plus 2 times x plus 3, while 1 and 2 are our coefficients. Example 1. X squared plus 7x plus 12. Our second sign is positive, so our signs will be the same. Our first sign is positive, so both of our coefficients are going to be positive. When we look at 7, we know 7 can be made into 3 plus 4. We know that 3 times 4 equals 12, which is our ending term. So 3 and 4 are our coefficients. So our answer is x plus 3 times x plus 4. Example 2. X squared minus 8x plus 16. Our second sign is positive, so signs are the same. Our first sign is negative, so both of our coefficients are going to be negative. When looking at negative 8, we know we can make that into negative 4 plus negative 4, which negative 4 times negative 4 equals 16. So negative 4 is both of our coefficients in our binomials. So our answer is x minus 4 times x minus 4. Example 3. Our second sign is negative, so the signs are going to be different, while our first sign is positive, so our larger coefficient will be positive. When looking at 9, we know we need a larger positive coefficient and a smaller negative coefficient that can be multiplied together to make negative 22. So we get negative 2 and 11. So our answer is x minus 2 times x plus 11. Example 4. X squared minus 4x minus 5. Our second sign is negative, so our signs are different. Our first sign is negative, so the larger coefficient is going to be negative. We know we need a larger negative coefficient and a smaller positive coefficient to get negative 4, but they need to also multiply to get negative 5. If we think negative 4 equals 1 plus negative 5, we are right because 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. So our coefficients are going to be negative 5 and 1, which gives us the answer of x minus 5 times x plus 1. Thank you for watching.